Welcome to today's episode of Vinyl Excursion with DJ Astro Black. In today's episode, I'm going to show you 4 records for my vinyl collection that somehow shaped my life and also my listening experience and my choice and decision to become a vinyl collector. The first record I'm going to show you is the Bob Marley Catch a Fire album on Island Records. Now this particular copy is an original Zippo lighter with the hinge still intact. The vinyl itself contains the pink band, which is the sought after one if you're looking for Island Records. This particular one, it's got the pink band. You know, that's the original from 1973. This was an amazing album. It was Bob Marley's debut album. That's why it just sounds so magic, you know, that they were combining, giving it the rock sound treatment with Bob's raw reggae. One of my favorite albums, hands down, in my collection. Another one of my favorite albums, and this would be largely influenced by my dad, who was a jazz head, and he loved this artist, Miles Davis. This one, Bitches Brew, an original on Columbia CBS. They were back in the days. This one is, as you know, it's considered one of Miles Davis's most creative outputs. He was experimenting a lot, you know, with, I'm sure, a lot of different things, but sounds as well. And while some people say it was his craziest period, it was definitely one of his most creative periods. This album is placed up in the high places for vinyl records, and especially among collectors. I know that for sure is being put out as a reissue. Another one of my favorite albums, who I'm not too particularly enamored with this group, but you have to admit that they were very popular, and man, we wouldn't know pop sensation and all the hysteria around pop artists without this group. So the Beatles and their vinyl, this is the White Album. It's an original as well. It comes with, as you know, back in the day, the original, they would include all sorts of cool stuff, you know, to get you to love the group even more. This one still has the original portrait shots of all 4 members of the group back when they were all handsome, young, and alive. It also came with the lyric sheet that also is a beautiful, and take in mind this is an original from when the White Album came out, poster. It is mad. I've thought about framing it a couple of times, but I'm really weird and I like to just keep stuff as they are, you know. So I haven't framed any of this stuff. I reckon one day it'll look really good though, framed up somewhere. Maybe even on one of my walls. Okay, that's my third choice for my vinyl favorites that I actually own. One of my others is also one of my favorite artists of all time. I think musically this guy was just out there, and doesn't play any part in the fact that I grew up in North Minneapolis for a while, and I spent time around a lot of the musos that were a part of the Minneapolis music scene at the time. This guy was just phenomenal. One of my favorite albums by him, and this was hard to pick, so I thought, what was one of his most experimental albums? Prince. And you know this album. This one is Around the World in a Day. Still with the original sticker on there that says Around the World in a Day. produced, performed, composed, and arranged by Prince. It's still an original. The cover is not in that great of a nick. I think my dad may have owned this one. Funny enough, I ended up inheriting a lot of his collection. I'm just trying to see if I can see the year 1985. To me, one of Prince's best albums. It's got all the lyrics there, printed on the cover. It's got Tambourine on it, Condition of the Heart, Pop Life, which I think was the most popular on the album. But it was just a phenomenal album. He was experimenting, you know, with sounding a bit Jimmy-esque and Beatle-esque. And this is even kind of a homage to one of the Beatles albums. I'm sure you can figure out which one. And he referenced Jimi Hendrix in songs and all sorts of stuff. So, hands down, one of my favorite albums that I own on vinyl. I own a lot of albums, but that's besides the point. These four are four of my favorites, always being played and always in rotation. I believe if you're a vinyl collector and you love music, you play the music. I listen to all my music, if I could point this out, on Technics 1200, playing Ortophon cartridges, and they sound beautiful. I think, you know, there's always debates on what you play your music on, what's the best. I don't knock any brands or anything. I do know that Techniques have been around for years. They're built like tanks, and they are used by DJs, clubs, people in their home studios or whatever worldwide. They have the reputation, so hence that's why I play all of my music on turntables. What we're going to discuss, but it will be vinyl related. We may listen, we may review, we may do whatever we love to with vinyl. DJ Astro Black here. It's been fun. Peace, love, and records.